A famous and fascinating landmark of ancient Rome, the Colosseum has captivated crowds since they attended the first events held here almost 2,000 years ago. There's now another draw for the millions who stream there every year. A passageway that was once secret is now open to the public. It gives them a glimpse of what an emperor saw as he passed through the structure's foundations, a tunnel that allowed access to the area without the need to walk through the crowds. You'd think that would have provided the emperor with extra security, but historical records say Commodus, who ruled Rome in the 2nd century, survived an assassination attempt in this hallway. And it remained a secret for centuries. It wasn't discovered until the 1800s. It was once decorated with landscapes, mythology, and scenes from Colosseum contests. The years and humidity have washed most of that away, but passing through it gives modern crowds an experience once fit for an emperor, long after the empire around this landmark crumbled into history. On this most awesome day of the week, we welcome you to the world from A to Z with Carl Azuz. Great to see you as always. We told you Monday there was new hope for peace in the Middle East. On Thursday, representatives from Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas signed an agreement at a meeting in Egypt. It's been described as the first phase of a plan to end the 2-year-old war in Gaza. What that phase will include: Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and start to pull Israeli troops back in Gaza. Aid trucks carrying food, medicine, and supplies will flow in large numbers to the Palestinian territory. Hamas will release all of the remaining hostages it took from Israel on October 7, 2023. About 20 of them are still believed to be alive. U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects them to be released Monday or Tuesday. Also, a ceasefire in the war seemed imminent last night as Israeli government officials met to approve the deal. There were celebrations in the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. You see some American flags in the crowd because President Trump helped negotiate the agreement. Israelis thanked him for his role in that, as did members of Hamas. The U.S. leaders expected to travel to the Middle East this weekend. Does this mean the war there is over? Not officially. There's cautious optimism that things are moving in the right direction. But some representatives from both Israel and Hamas still have reservations about the broader peace plan. So it remains to be seen if they'll be able to compromise in the days ahead to bring their latest conflict to an absolute end.
On this date in world history,
what became known as the Great Hurricane of 1780 struck the Caribbean on October 10th. More than 20,000 lives were lost on islands like Barbados, Martinique, and St. Lucia. The disaster from 1780 is the deadliest Atlantic hurricane ever recorded. On October 10, 1913, major construction ended on the Panama Canal when President Woodrow Wilson remotely triggered an explosion. The blast at the Gamboa Dike allowed water from the Atlantic and Pacific to connect here for the first time. The 50-mile-long canal was a feat of engineering that cut more than 5,000 miles off the trip around South America's Cape Horn. The work took more than 30 years, and at least 25,000 people died during its construction, many due to malaria and yellow fever. And on this date in 1973, U.S. Vice President Spiro Agnew resigned after pleading no contest to income tax evasion. He was only the second American VP to step down. Republican House Leader Gerald Ford was appointed as his replacement, and he went on to become president himself after President Richard Nixon resigned following the Watergate scandal.
Word of knowledge. Microchips are usually fabricated on a small piece of what? Aluminum, silicon, plastic, copper. While germanium has been used in the past, most microchips are made with silicon, a semiconductor.
Prospective students touring a university campus, Rochester Institute of Technology, one of a handful of U.S. schools teaching the specialty of microengineering. Students at RIT learn hands-on the whole process of making microchips, or just chips, tiny transistor devices that run the technology we rely on daily.
So that's 20 millionths of a meter. If we had somebody's piece of hair, it would go from here to here.
And good, clean work. One speck of dust can ruin a microprocessor. Fabrication facilities are kept thousands of times cleaner than an operating room. Following the pandemic, there's been a push to bring chip production back to U.S. soil. This resulted in Congress passing the CHIPS and Science Act, billions of dollars in federal incentives towards chip manufacturing, research, and development. According to a 2024 report, more than 90 projects were started across 28 states between 2020 and 2024. Projects which need a skilled workforce.
I think that we are doing a tremendous service to students to get them involved in this program because of the opportunities, the jobs that are going to be available, and just the excitement that this field has.
RIT says 100% of its microengineering graduates are hired, often recruited and made offers before graduating. One study projected a shortfall of 67,000 technicians, computer scientists, and engineers in the industry by 2030. The chip industry is facing a few uncertainties. The CHIPS Act and its incentives are set to expire next year. And there's tariffs. The U.S. is a major producer of semiconductors, but in some areas, it still relies on foreign manufacturing and assembly. Still, faculty and students at RIT are optimistic about the industry's future in the United States.
We're putting chips into more and more products every day, and so in the long term, we're going to need to be producing a lot more chips, and that means we're going to need a lot more trained engineers to make them.
Let's see who's watching. Our fantastic 4 for Friday start us out in East Asia. Mrs. Sasaki's class is watching from the Christian Academy in Japan. It's in the Japanese capital of Tokyo. From the state of New Hampshire, Newport Middle School is with us from Newport. We welcome the Tigers of Miss Foss's class. And they ain't the only big cats. The Tigers of Centennial Middle School are in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma in Mrs. Godwin's class. And Allatoona High School is in Ackworth, Georgia. That's where Mrs. Tina's and Mrs. Emily's classes are online in the home of the Buccaneers.
This is the story of Eeyore, a heroic dog in Florida that led a sheriff's deputy directly to an injured woman gone missing. Okaloosa County Deputy Devin Miller responded to a report of an elderly woman who didn't return from a walk with her son's dog in a Destin neighborhood.
She never takes more than 10 or 15 minutes. It's almost an hour now.
After interviewing the woman's distraught husband, Deputy Miller began searching the area and soon
There's the dog.
spotted the dog named Eeyore.
Tell me where Mama is.
Leading the deputy from her vehicle directly to the spot where the missing 86-year-old woman had fallen on a sidewalk. She was unable to get up, but alert, and couldn't believe how the deputy had found her.
He wouldn't believe. He kept coming back to me. I'm not even his owner. I'm his grandmother.
The deputy called EMS and got the woman the help she needed, all thanks to the heroics of one very sweet and very loyal pupster.
Oh, Eeyore, you're a good boy. Grandma loves you.
From an animal helping an officer make a rescue to an officer's rescue of an animal. A squirrel in Ohio somehow got tangled up in a sports net last week. The policeman had the right tool to help serve and protect the rodent, but it still took a while. Richmond Heights Police addressed the incident online, saying, "Not every call we answer is serious, but every call matters." And this one definitely mattered to the squirrel, making a world of difference to the critter. You know his friends will totally prairie dog him with corny jokes about Chip monkeying around in a sports field. You gotta stay grounded when you're not flying through the tree, Scrat. After getting caught in nothing but net, he'll probably be keeping it arboreal, though at least he has a tale to tell that's totally nuts, y'all. That's the world from A to Z. Teachers, please check out our free news quiz at worldatozorg and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a show. I'm Carl Azuz, and all y'all mean the world to me.